Oman is a country situated in Southwest Asia, bordering the Arabian Sea, Gulf of Oman, and Persian Gulf, between Yemen and United Arab Emirates. Location: Oman is located in the southeastern quarter of the Arabian Peninsula and covers a total land area of 309,500 square kilometers. The land area is composed of varying topographic features. Valleys and desert account for 82% of the landmass, mountain ranges 15%, and the coastal plain 3%. The Sultanate is flanked by the Gulf of Oman, the Arabian Sea, and the Rub' al-Khali of Saudi Arabia, all of which contributed to Oman's isolation. Historically, the country's contacts with the rest of the world were by sea, which not only provided access to foreign lands but also linked the coastal towns of Oman. The Rub' al-Khali, difficult to cross even with modern desert transport, formed a barrier between the Sultanate and the Arabian interior. The Al-Haja Mountains, which form a belt between the coast and the desert from the Muzandam Peninsula to the city of Sur at Oman's easternmost point, formed another barrier. These geographic barriers kept the interior of Oman free from foreign military encroachments. Geographic coordinates. Geographical regions. Natural features divide the country into 6 distinct areas. Rus Al-Jabal, including the northern Muzandam Peninsula, the Al-Batana Plain running southeast along the Gulf of Oman coast, the Oman interior behind the Al-Batana coast comprising the Al-Haja Mountains, the foothills, and desert fringes, the coast from Muscat Matra around the Ras Al-Had Point and down the Arabian Sea, the offshore island of Masrah, and finally, the barren coastline south to the Dhofar region in the south. Except for the foggy and fertile Dhofar, all of the coast and the lowlands around the Al-Haja Mountains are part of the Gulf of Oman desert and semi-desert ecoregion, while the mountains themselves are a distinct habitat. Rus Al-Jabal. The northernmost area, Rus Al-Jabal, extends from the Muzandam Peninsula to the boundary with the United Arab Emirates at Hisn al-Diba. It borders the Strait of Hormuz, which links the Persian Gulf with the Gulf of Oman, and is separated from the rest of the Sultanate by a strip of territory belonging to the UAE. This area consists of low mountains forming the northernmost extremity of the Al-Haja Al-Gharbi Mountains. 2 inlets, Elphinstone and Malcolm, cleave the coastline about 1/3 of the distance from the Strait of Hormuz, and at one point are separated by only a few hundred meters of land. The coastline is extremely rugged, and the Elphinstone Inlet, 16 kilometers long and surrounded by cliffs 1,000 to 1,250 meters high, has frequently been compared with fjords in Norway. Al-Batana, the UAE territory separating Rus Al-Jabal from the rest of Oman, extends almost as far south as the coastal town of Shinas. A narrow, well-populated coastal plain known as Al-Batana runs from the point at which the Sultanate is re-entered to the town of As-Sib, about 140 kilometers to the southeast. Across the plains, a number of wadis, heavily populated in their upper courses, descend from the Al-Haja Al-Gharbi Mountains to the south. A ribbon of oases watered by wells and underground channels extends the length of the plain, about 10 kilometers inland. Muscat Matra coastal area south of As-Sib. The coast changes character for about 175 kilometers from As-Sib to Ras Al-Had. It is barren and bounded by cliffs almost its entire length. There is no cultivation and little habitation. Although the deep water off this coast renders navigation relatively easy, there are few natural harbors or safe anchorages. The two best are at Muscat and Matra, where natural harbors facilitated the growth of cities centuries ago. Coastal tract and island of Masrah. The desolate coastal tract from Jalan to Ras North has no specific name. Low hills and wastelands meet the sea for long distances. Midway along this coast and about 15 kilometers offshore is the barren Masura Island. Stretching about 70 kilometers, the island occupies a strategic location near the entry point to the Gulf of Oman from the Arabian Sea. Because of its location, it became the site of military facilities used first by the British and then by the United States. Following an access agreement signed in 1980 by the United States and Oman interior, west of the coastal areas lies the tableland of central Oman. The Al-Haja Mountains form two ranges, the Al-Haja Al-Gharbi Mountains and the Al-Haja Ash-Sharqi Mountains. They are divided by the Wadi Samel, a valley that forms the traditional route between Muscat and the interior. The general elevation is about 1,200 meters, but the peaks of the high ridge known as Jebel Agda rise to more than 3,000 meters. Jebel Agda is the only home of the Arabian tahr, a unique species of wild goat. In the hope of saving this rare animal, Sultan Qaboos ibn Said has declared part of the mountain a national park. Behind the Al-Haja Al-Gharbi Mountains are two inland regions, Arizona Zahira and Inner Oman, separated by the lateral range of the Rub al-Khali. Adjoining the Al-Haja Ash-Sharqi Mountains of the sandy regions of Ash-Sharqiyya and Jalan, which also border the desert. Dhofar Governorate Dhofar region extends from Ras Ash-Sharbaita to the border of Yemen and north to the clearly defined border with Saudi Arabia. Its capital, Salalah, was the permanent residence of Sultan Said ibn Taimur al-Said and the birthplace of the present Sultan Qaboos ibn Said. The highest peaks are about 2,000 meters. The coast of Dhofar is fertile, being watered by monsoonal fogs from the Indian Ocean and is part of the Arabian Peninsula coastal fog desert ecoregion. Al-Daira region consists of three parts, Dank, Ibr and Yankal. Climate, with the exception of Dhofar region, which has a strong monsoon climate and receives warm winds from the Indian Ocean. The climate of Oman is extremely hot and dry most of the year. Summer begins in mid-April and lasts until October. The highest temperatures are registered in the interior, where readings up to a maximum of 50.8 degrees Celsius have been recorded. On the Al-Batinar plain, summer temperatures seldom exceed 47 degrees Celsius, but, because of the low elevation, the humidity may be as high as 90%. The mean summer temperature in Muscat is 33 degrees Celsius, but the Gharbi, a strong wind that blows from the Rub al-Khali, can raise temperatures from the towns on the Gulf of Oman by 6 degrees Celsius to 10 degrees Celsius. Winter temperatures are mild and pleasant, ranging between 18 and 26 degrees Celsius. Precipitation on the coasts and on the interior plains ranges from 20 to 100 millimeters a year and falls during mid and late winter. Rainfall in the mountains, particularly over Jebel Agda, is much higher and may reach 900 millimeters. Because the plateau of Jebel Agda is porous limestone, rainfall seeps quickly through it, and the vegetation, which might be expected to be more lush, is meager. However, a huge reservoir under the plateau provides springs for low-lying areas. In addition, an enormous wadi channels water to these valleys, making the area agriculturally productive in years of good rainfall. Dhofar, benefiting from a southwest monsoon between June and September, receives heavier rainfall and has constantly running streams, which make the region Oman's most fertile area. Occasionally, a cyclone from the North Indian Ocean makes landfall, bringing with it heavy rain, such as Cyclone Kelia did in 2011. Oman was hit by Cyclone Gonu on June 6. Large areas in the capital area region in the governorate of Muscat and Inner Merit and Koriyut were severely affected. Gonu first hit the southern city of Sur late on June 5, 2007. Oman is one of the few countries with no National Red Crescent or Red Cross Society. Area and boundaries. Area 309,500 square kilometers. Border countries: Saudi Arabia 676 kilometers, United Arab Emirates 410 kilometers, Yemen 288 kilometers, coastline 3,165 kilometers, maritime claims, territorial sea 12 nmi, contiguous zone 24 nmi, exclusive economic zone 200 nmi. Environmental concerns. Natural hazards. Summer winds often raise large sandstorms and dust storms in the interior during periodic droughts. Following rain, wadis can fill with rainwater and vast tracts of land can be flooded. A cyclone making landfall can severely flood large areas, or blow sand all over the place. Environment. Current issues. Soil salinity is rising. There is beach pollution from oil spills. There are very limited natural freshwater resources. Geographical note: Oman is in a strategic location on Muzindam Peninsula adjacent to Strait of Hormuz, a vital transit point for world crude oil.